Hello world, my name's Dave. I've been in Japan now for about around like 4 months, and it's always been a goal that I've had through the course of my life. And now that I've been here a little while, I figured one of the other goals I had was to share my experience with the world, and through my experience here, hopefully have a chance to inform people of any, questions that they might have if they were going to try and go through a similar sort of experience, if they wanted to come over here for work, or maybe more specifically what I came over to do, which was teach English. Probably the most common, most popular thing to do, most well-known job that you can get when you come over here as a native English speaker. And so I should start at the beginning. I should tell a story as to how I even got here in the first place. And so when I was really young, call it like 10 years old, I'm a Canadian. I come from Vancouver Island originally. And when I lived on the island, I had a really good friend and just a fantastic guy. And his family left when I was very young, as I say, to go to Japan. And from that point, he was such a good friend and had been such a formative influence, even at that point in my life, that I just got this rabid interest in what was this amazing place that people went to, and where everybody was different and was so different from where I had grown up from. And over the years, just took on more and more of an interest in it, and wanted to be involved with it more and more. And it eventually led to me going to school, where I went to UBC. That's a university in Vancouver. It's a nice place right on the ocean, and the courses that I took there was kind of like an Eastern history focus, where I focused mostly on Japan and Japan, China, Korea, things like that. Mostly Japan was the interest that I had, and I ended up coming out of there. I took a couple victory laps, got my degree in about 6 years. And I ended up with a history degree where its focus was Eastern history, specifically Japan. Really, really interesting. I could talk about all sorts of stuff from that, but I won't bore you with that. That's not the point of this. But it really did feel, even coming out of school, I was like, wow, as much as I still feel I've connected with this incredible place, what is it to read about a place? What is it to learn about a culture, but then never ever to go over and firsthand experience it? So I thought to myself, the next thing, if I've got this interest, I've got this passion, it should probably be to go over and experience it firsthand. I should go there myself. And so lots of stuff happened in my life. It took a few more years for that to happen. But I was like, damn it, 1 year. In fact, it was my same friend. He's been over again and again and again, just with school and back and forth. He really has a second life here. And he said, I went on Craigslist, as so many people often will, and there were some postings for teaching over in Japan. It's just that simple. And I think regardless of any country that you're in, there's active recruitment through Craigslist. That's like the probably easiest place that you could go and look. And so I went on to Craigslist, and I answered this ad, and no time at all, I had the people responding back to me. I was living in Vancouver at the time, and they said, why don't you come in? We've got kind of like a group interview coming up, and you could be a part of that, so why don't you come in, and we'll see how you do. And I was like, okay, sounds great. And from there, I just went. And obviously, I'm sitting here now in my little humble gaijin shack. It's actually bigger than what I lived in Vancouver, and cheaper. Of course, I live in the countryside in Japan, which is a big plus. Things are very, very inexpensive. But I suppose that depends on personal preference. Again, some people wanting to do this may want to be positioned in a more central place, say Tokyo or Kyoto or something like that. And those are all options along the way. I even had those as options, but this was just, as I say, personal preference. But through the long and the short of it is, I made it. And most of what I found in my experience, I can tag off this video with saying is if you're going to do this, if you're interested in coming over here, you probably need like 2-3 things at most. First and foremost, you should be realistic about is just having an amount of money, because setup costs are setup costs. You're going to come over here, you're going to have to pay months of rent, and you're going to have an initial investment. Some companies will pay for your plane ticket, some don't. So you want to have a little bit of money put aside. And then beyond that, it's 2 words. I said 2 or 3 things, so I guess just 2 things. A little bit of money and 2 words. Open mind. You just got to have an open mind, because everything's going to be new. And in fact, I think that should be the reason, one of the major reasons that you come here is that you want change, that you want something different from what you've experienced so far. And believe me, you'll get it. Because I came here studying the history and the culture, and it had always been my dream to come here. But it's like I like to say that when I came here, I found that my dreams were lacking in scale, that I didn't realize just how big the dream would be once I finally arrived. And that's fantastic, you know. I was looking for change. Oh, I got change. But you should want that as well. Okay, there. I made it to 3 things. Have a little money, an open mind, and embrace change. But with those 3 things, you can do it pretty easily. You know, everything's going to come with its challenges. Use that cliche line, you know, everything in life worth doing does. It's going to be difficult if it has some reward with it, and that's a lot of what I've experienced here in little rants that I could go on and will in the future, because I'm just going to talk and share my experiences. I don't imagine it can reach a great deal of popularity. Mostly what I want to be here for is a point of reference for people. Like I say, I can recount my experience and offer a window into what you might go through when you come over here, at least a little bit of. And then beyond that, I want to be a resource for questions. You know, people are going to have questions. I had a lot of questions. And as much as you don't want people, you know, telling you about their experiences the whole time, you want to come over and have your own experience. You can benefit a lot from having the opinion of somebody else who's been through a few of those common things, like there are other channels available on YouTube. I am just another unique voice to offer my opinion of what you might go through. And am open-minded. Like I said, as a requirement, I've tried to be that. And with an open mind, I think I can offer good advice for a lot of what you might experience when you come over. So that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about why I came over. I'm going to be making a bunch of videos, so I don't need to, you know, say it all within the first 10 minutes. So I look forward to hearing from you folks. Give me comments. This is my first video. Tell me if I suck, if it's good. Maybe I need a better camera. I don't know. I should probably shave. Things like this. Feel free to comment. All right. I'll probably hear from you people whenever. Ciao for now.